Hello, and welcome to TIM-DND. Today we're going to talk about magic shops, how they can work in your world, how I created my magic shop, and by the end of this, you'll be able to use this magic shop if you want to in your own game or adapt it to fit whatever setting you've created. For full disclosure, I didn't originally have a magic shop in my campaign. I didn't want magic to be readily available in a shop, as same as armor, weapons, and equipment are in any other shop. I wanted magic itself to feel special and earned. So, yeah, you might get a magic sword or armor or other item after defeating a monster or a creature which carried and used those weapons, but you wouldn't get it by going round the corner to your local store and asking them to make you some magic armor. What this means is obviously magic is more rare in my setting and feels more special when the characters do manage to get hold of it. But it became apparent quite soon that my players did want a magic shop. They did want to go in and buy items which seemed special to them, and they wanted that in the setting. I thought about this for a while. I didn't want to change my setting and my the law of my world, but I did want to give the players what they were asking for. So what I came up with at the end of the day, was a magic shop which effectively is like a pan-dimensional magic shop and comes and goes as I choose when I need it to. Not necessarily always in the same place, which means the characters, the players, can't rely on it being there, but when it does appear, it feels special. So what I came up with was Omer's Oddities, a magic shop which looks like a small shack on the outside with a rustic wooden sign, but on the inside looks like the warehouse from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Um, Along the aisle, which the players will walk into, there's gates and fences to prevent them wandering into the warehouse and exploring for themselves. Um, and these are magical gates. There's no way the players, no matter how powerful they are, can um, go anywhere other than down the aisle to what will be a counter at the end of the aisle. Um, the counter has a little sign on the top which says today's specials, and this is a restricted list of magic items that I will have put together before the shop appears. I don't want to have to stock a huge magic shop. And I think one of the issues of a magic shop is there's so many different types of items that if you have a normal shop and your players go in and they say, "What's on the shelves?" suddenly you're in the position where you have to stock an entire shop full of multiple different items, um, or come up with excuses as to why the shop is very low on stock. Um, in my head canon, my warehouse, which is massive, um, is constantly being looked at by or sorted through by the owner, and the owner will literally open up a box or two, find some items, and put them on the specials board. Anything else that the players might want, um, they're welcome to ask the owner for, but I think it's more likely that the owner will say, I think I've got that somewhere, and say, come back later. Um, like the TARDIS, uh, this is bigger on the inside, smaller on the outside, and also travels through time and space to any D&D setting it wants to go to, or any other setting for that matter. So my magic shop is going to be very meta at times. It's going to have the owner doing things which don't make sense for the campaign setting. Um, and it's generally designed to be a humorous encounter where the players can get some minor magical items off of the board, um, healing potions, immovable rods, boots of striding and leaping. Um, the sort of items which can be helpful, can be functionally fun to use, but don't totally throw the game into a power war of who can have the highest plus sword, um, or the most impenetrable armor. So I've created the shop, and now I've got to create the NPCs to run it. The first one is the owner, Oma herself, who's a small gnome. She's old, she's grumpy, she plays deaf when she doesn't like the sound of people trying to barter or lower her prices. Um, and she's a character I can embody fairly easily. I work as a nurse in a hospital. She's basically a combination of a multitude of old ladies who are grumpy and partially hearing, um, and don't want to hear what you're trying to tell them. I hope none of my patients are listening to this and moaning about how awful I am to them. Um, but she's a combination of these things. Um, she's meta, so she's outside of the world of the campaign. Some of the equipment she might be using at different times will come from our world rather than the campaign world. Um, she might be doing things which have something to do with a completely different world of a TV series or something that I've been watching. Ultimately, I can bring anything into being with this character, and I enjoy doing that because it gives the players something to go, oh, I recognise that, and at the same time, it's not affecting the rest of the campaign. Um, Oma won't barter with the players. She won't argue about her prices. As far as she's concerned, those prices are set in stone. Her assistant, Mary, who she'll shout for at the top of her voice, and Mary will just appear sort of 2 feet away, sitting down, knitting or something. Um, she's slightly more polite and affable, and the players will have more luck talking to her. She won't lower the prices because she's not the owner. She might identify items that the players have already found. She might discuss magical effects that they need to talk about. That sort of thing she's perfect for. She's a high level magic user of in her own right. Um, she's an elf looking character. She always wears jumpers which have got slogans on knitted into them. She's often knitting herself, suggesting that she's making her own jumpers, um, and she's what you'd think of as the typical spinster type character, um, but I can change that and swing it and spin it as I want. She's a lot younger looking than Oma, but being elven, that's always difficult to judge. Um, and again, it's a character I can embody fairly easily. So that's quite an important thing with NPCs that are going to appear several times. You need to be able to pick them up quite easily and remember how they're going to be, how they act, how they are, without too much prompting from your notes and things. Because the players will remember them at once they've interacted with them, and they will notice if suddenly your character has changed. But I'll talk about that in another video about NPCs, I think. So my magic shop enables me to have control over when, where, and what items the characters can buy. The shop will appear when and where I choose it to appear, and the items available will only be what I've put in there. If the characters requested an item for whatever reason, and Oma has agreed to make it or look for it, then the characters have no idea when that shop will reappear and they'll be able to actually access that item. On the other hand, if they do that and they then travel to a totally different continent, there's every chance that the shop will appear in that continent and they'll still be able to buy the item without having to travel all the way back in order to get hold of it. This removes a lot of the sticking problems that can develop with a magic shop, and also gives me a lot of freedom and choice, which is what I was looking for. Hopefully, this magic shop appeals to you. If it does, feel free to use it in any way you feel that you would like to. If you just need to pinch bits from it, of course, you're free to do that as well. And hopefully, this inspires you to create your own shop of whatever sort you choose. Okay, that's it from me for today. I'll see you around. Enjoy gaming, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.